So things have been quiet, but I wanted to talk about somebody on the Eagles roster that I appreciate the most for one, his return, and two, the mentality and the way he speaks about the city, the team, Carson Wentz himself. That's Nick Foles. Now, I always told myself, especially after the 2013 season, that when Nick Foles is on our team, we have a shot at winning a Super Bowl. He left in 2014, and we went down the toilet in 2015 without him. And of course, we didn't have Macklin, we didn't have McCoy. Our defense was destroyed. But it started with him. It started with losing Nick Foles. He was the second one to go after LaShawn McCoy, and then we couldn't get Jeremy Macklin back. But ever since Nick Foles returned, I know he hasn't impressed people at OTAs. I know he's not going to be the same Nick Foles he was 4 years ago when he was, throwing 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He's gone through a lot of adversity in St. Louis, in Kansas City, even here in Philadelphia before he left. I mean, he broke his collarbone trying to win a football game for us. But the way that he's been talking about Carson Wentz and his role here as a backup, the one thing that I admire the most about him right now is that, one, he has completely agreed and has come to terms with the fact that he's going to be playing the role as a backup quarterback. He's taken that role seriously, and he's trying to help out Carson Wentz as much as he can. That's something that Chase Daniel, I don't think, ever did in his full year here in Philadelphia. You want to know why? Because he was bitching about money towards the end of the season last year, thinking that he could be a starter. Nick Foles knows what his role is going to be. If he gets to play a couple of games in the regular season, if Wentz goes down, then that's great, but he's not going to take the job. He knows that this is Carson Wentz's job, and he's going to help him throughout his journey, and that's something that I love about Nick Foles. And the thing about him is that he actually can do an interview. Chase Daniel, I did not like listening to him in an interview last year at all. This year, I like listening to Nick Foles because he actually can speak to the fans, and he's one of those players that knows how this fan base works. He's been here. He's been through it all, He's been through adversity. He's been through success. And then he got traded away. He's been through it all here. And for him to come back and now take on this role and accept his role and not complain or anything like along those lines regarding his role, that's a true Philadelphia Eagle in my opinion. And I've always liked Nick Foles. I loved him as a player, and he's a really good person. In the end, I like what I'm hearing from him. He might not be impressing anybody on the football field, but in the end, he's a backup. He's a solid backup. We saw him have success in Kansas City when he came in, but they stuck with Alex Smith for whatever reason, and now they have whatever Mahomes down there in Kansas City over Nick Foles and stuff. It's whatever, but Nick Foles returning to Philly, it might not be like the biggest thing ever to happen here in Philly, but it will have a big impact on Carson Wentz's career, guaranteed.